Hello and welcome to a new episode of Trains App, and long awaited, where today we're going to be filming at a very windy Linslade on the West Coast Mainline, where you'll be seeing service from Avanti West Coast, London Northwestern Railway, Southern, and with any luck, some freight as well. God, it feels good to be back. It feels to be back in the swing of things. Now, I don't know if the trains are running to their fullest, but after having a cheeky little peek on real-time trains, it looks like there's going to be still a fair few keeping us around for this rush hour period. So, along with the wind and everything else, let's see what shall turn up and start this year all over again. Okay, our first train of the day is going to be a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston with 350 369 leading. And 350 377 trailing. Launching their way into Linslade Tunnel. Okay, the next train to round the bend is an Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. 390-020. Going in the full white. The aim of this is to capture at least one of the full liveried Avanti West Coast 390s and maybe even the 390 with the face mask. When I was out at work yesterday doing all my deliveries, it was actually around Leadburn I was making his delivery, and I saw that Pendolino in question. From a distance, it certainly looked the part. So hopefully it turns up during my stint here. It's not the end of the world. Blimey! It's not the end of the world if it doesn't, but it'd be rather nice if it did. Okay, the next train to emerge is going to be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going to Manchester Piccadilly from London Euston. 390-006, as we have what I believe are going to be a pair, nor a triple load of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston with 350-410 leading. .404 in the middle, and 406 trailing. Those three being former Trans-Pennine Express Class 350s. Again, about to round the bend is going to be another Class 390 going from Preston to London Euston, worked by Avanti West Coast. 390-131. Another reason I love this spot of the West Coast Mainline is because you capture the Pendolinos and the 221 Super Voyagers on that gorgeous curve, so you get that tilting action at the same time. Love it. Okay, the next train to make an appearance is going to be another pair, or presumably a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from London Euston to Northampton. In fact, it's a triple load. 350-257 leading. 129 in the middle, and 350-110 brings up the rear. We're doing about turn. We find the Royal Mail 325s going from Wilston to Shieldmere. 325-014 leading. .006 in the middle, and 001 brings up the rear. As we also have an Avanti West Coast service going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston in the form of 390-153. Excellent. Okay, the next train to pass by is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 heading to Preston. It's got the face mask. 350-110 390,042. I do like that. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a DB Cargo UK Class 66 going from Dallow Briggs to Thiel Hope. 66,176. I struggled to say the word DB Cargo UK Class 66, but it was a sentence. But there we are. With what I'm going to believe is going to be a very, very heavy load. DB Red Wagons, EWS liveried 66. Still works. Alrighty then, the next train to pass by is going to be a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from London Euston to Crewe. Leading the way, 350,119. With 350,403 bringing up the rear. Another one of the former Transpennine units. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a Freightliner 66 going from Birch Coppice to Felixstowe North. $66,526. Got a full load behind her. Okay, the next train to pass by looks like a full liveried Avanti West Coast service to Glasgow Central. Nope. 390,047 in sort of a half livery either end. And then we have a Crewe to London bound pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s with 255 leading. 259 bringing up the rear. And then immediately following on behind is a pair of Southern 377s going from Milton Keynes Central to Clapham Junction, with 377,215 leading. And 377,209 bringing up the rear. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyages, what I believe are from Birmingham to London. 221-108 and 221-118. Oh, that smells nice. And then we have another Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pentalino going to, I think, Manchester Piccadilly. This one got the full livery? Nope. $390,008. Tilting nicely there. Okay, here we have 221-112 and 221-107 for Avanti West Coast heading to Birmingham New Street. Alright then, the next train to pass by, or load of trains, are going to be a triple load of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s. $231, $102 and $239, all bound for London Euston. Okay, the next train to pass by is an Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Liverpool Lime Street to London Euston. And those triple loaded 350s in the previous shot were running from Northampton to London Euston, as we also have another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from London Euston to Liverpool Lime Street. That was Allison, 390-115. At more sedate speed. Okay, the next train to pass by is another Freightliner 66 going from London Gateway to Garston, worked by 66-532. Another decent load being hauled up the country there. Okay, passing now is a Manchester to London bound 390. $390,005. Okay, the next train to make an appearance is going to be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from London Euston to Glasgow Central. $390,121. Full tilt going on there, that's what we like to see. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s, or triple load, going to Milton Keynes Central from London Euston with 128 leading. $250 in the middle, $254 bringing up the rear. Alright, so the next train around the bend is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. Worked by 390-130, as we also have a 390 heading to Manchester Piccadilly. Worked by 390-118. Okay, the next train to have emerged out from the tunnel is going to be a London Northwestern Railway service going from London Euston to Birmingham New Street. Leading the way is going to be 350-116. And on the rear is 350-260. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. $109 leading and $408 trailing. Okay, round to the bend now is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. $390,122, also complete with a face mask. Okay, here we have $390,119, giving it what for, bound for Birmingham New Street. Alright then, next one's passed by. (39152) bound for London Euston. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a Freightliner class 66 going from Ditton to Felixstowe. As 390-10 rounds the corner. This is 66524. Okay, the next train to come crawling around the bend is going to be a GBRF class 66 going from Trafford Park Euro Terminal to Felixstowe North, GBRF, worked by 66749. Length. Also, the previous load of 390s were going to Liverpool and from Glasgow. Alright then, the next train to pass by is Avanti West Coast class 390, complete with the mouth open, bound for Manchester to Piccadilly. (390-125). Then we do an about turn. We'll find a DB Cargo UK Class 66 going from Dagenham Docks to Moss End, hauling a load of brand new cars and vans, I suspect. In the meantime, we'll do a quick U-turn. We find a Preston to London Euston bound Avanti West Coast Class 390, worked by 390-107. This is 66097. Whole new range of Fords. Alright then, the next train to pass by is going to be a triple load of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s bound for London Euston, led by 35254. With 250 and 128, going from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston. Okay, and the next train to make an appearance is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from London Euston to Glasgow Central. (390-141), complete with a dead bird on the rear. Alright then, the next train to pass by is going to be a London Northwestern Railway service going from London Euston to Northampton. Leading the way is 35262. With 407 and 265. Right, little mixed bag of liveries we're getting with these trains. And the next train to come charging along is another pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s bound for Crewe with 353.77 leading. And 369 bringing up the rear. Going at breakneck speeds. Alright then, the next train to round the bend is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. .039, as we also have another Avanti West Coast 390 heading to Lancaster. .020. Okay, the next train to pass by should be a pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from Crewe to London Euston. 352.46 leading. With 123 bringing up the rear. As we have an Avanti West Coast service heading to Manchester Piccadilly, worked by one of their Class 390 Pendolinos. .9153. Again, about to round the bend. Sounds like a pair of 221s. Oh, blimey. That sounds like a 221 Supervoid from a distance. But it isn't. It is 39132 for Avanti West Coast going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. Now, round the corner, that sounded like a diesel engine. Peculiar, but there we go. Could be like a new, one of these new hybrids. They're secretly testing it without anybody noticing. And I've just sussed them. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Alrighty then, the next train to pass by is another Avanti West Coast Class 390 heading to Liverpool Lime Street. Works by 391.31. Okay, the next train to pass by going to be a triple load of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s bound for London Euston. Leading the way is 351.10. With 129 and 257. Now I believe they're going from Northampton to London Euston, but I will double check. And the last 390 that headed north was actually bound for Wolverhampton, not Liverpool Lime Street. The next two 390s will be working services to and from Liverpool. And I'll just check where that load of 350s came from in the next clip for you. Okay then, here comes one of the 390s bound for Liverpool Lime Street. Worked by 391.24. And the triple load of 350s were indeed from Northampton bound for London Euston. Okay, and rounding the bend is the London-bound train from Liverpool Lime Street. Worked by 390.049. Still have yet to catch the one of the Avanti sets in the full livery. The livery has been seen on this channel previously, but just seeing if I can capture it on this film. I wanted to say video and film at the same time, and it was also going to come out as film. So I ended up changing myself. I'm just, yeah, you know, I'm rusty. I've not done this for about, what, 4, 5 months now? You know, give me a break. Give me a kick out. Okay, and round to the bend in full flights is another Avanti 390 from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. There goes 266, 243. And 247 bound for Milton Keynes Central. I have no idea what number 390 that was. I think it was a 390-0. but I couldn't catch the last 4 numbers. I wanted to say 390047, but I don't think that's right. Didn't even know that the Milton Keynes train was coming up behind me. Okay, our final train of the day is going to be a DB Cargo UK Class 66 going from Trafford Park to London Gateway. Worked by 66187. She rattles down the West Coast Mainline towards Leighton Buzzard. I shall leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching, it is greatly appreciated. If you've enjoyed listening today, then please do like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I do go back to them as and when I get the chance to. Well, there we go then. After 5 months of not doing anything, it feels good to get back into the saddle, get a rush hour film out the way. I'll be doing another one in very close succession. The next one I'll be filming will be at Bletchley, but not the train station. I'll be finding one of the footbridges to film from, as we have 39112 bound for Glasgow Central. So Bletchley will be next for the rush hour films. That will be done the day after today, and then that will obviously be uploaded after this one does. So I'm going to try and get through as many as possible. Rush hour films at railway stations probably will not happen. So it saves a whole lot of hassle if you just stick to trackside locations, as far as I'm concerned. But if you would like to help support the channel and enable me to go further afield within the country and get to some of those stations that you've asked me to do but I've not had the chance to yet, then you can show your support by donating to the PayPal link found down below. Any and all funds will go straight back into the channel to help better the content from my Trains Out series. It will also enable me to go further afield for you guys. So if you have any station recommendations for me to go to, well, really, trackside locations, then please do let me know. And with your support, I can go further afield and get much better films done for you. So until next time, from me here at Linslade, I shall see you all later. Take care, guys. Goodbye.